You gotta choose your side, you gotta choose your side. It's do or die. I said it's do or die. I said it's conflict in all areas, nigga. You choose the side. You could win or you could lose, nigga. It's do or die. Energy don't lie, it just testify for what they saying. I just look them deep into their eyes, going against the God in me. Now that's suicide. Higher self, higher level, higher wealth. To move like this, you gotta put your pride upon yourself. They say money is power, but knowledge way stronger.
Yeah, what you say is true. The Shaolin and the Wu-Tang could be dangerous. Do you think your Wu-Tang sword can defeat me?
They say money is power, but knowledge way stronger. My soul pure gold, so I live way longer. My mind think righteous, yeah, my bloodline chosen. My energy is positive, words unspoken, I'm so illuminated. I shine brighter than Illuminati. Walking on water, now they really know I'm God body. Gifted from birth, so the life I face is hard body. Had so much love in my heart, they had to apply pressure. Now I'm a fine diamond, yeah, said I'm a fine diamond.
And the Wu-Tang sword style.
No matter how hard they try, I found myself in divine timing. Now they follow what I say like my name Simon. Led the chosen ones to victory in divine timing. The time is near, the signs are clear. 144, activation is here. We rise in the vibration with no fear. Oh, the Thundercats we all hear. And now it just don't seem fair. It just don't seem fair.
Welcome. Hey, welcome. I'm on time and I believe I got my mic on. Yes. Come on in the room. I believe I got my mic on. Yeah, that part. Welcome. How's everybody doing this great Friday evening? Hey, it's good. It's great. It's better than better. That's all I can say. Hey, you know, these 7 sacred echoes got a little deeper than what I thought and what I believe, but it's all good. I'm just going to carry this series as it will. I call it 7 sacred echoes, and this thing is turning into deeper than what I could have ever imagined. Just let me give you a recap on the echoes that I have shared with you thus far. The first one was the whisper that won't let you quit. You know, that's little still voice that nudges at you to keep going when you desire to give up. That perseverance through divine nudges. How God speaks when you're ready to give up. And just for the record, y'all know how I am. However you choose to believe, if you don't believe in God, if you don't use the word God, if you believe in Yeshua, Allah, Yeshua, whatever you choose to believe in, just make sure it's of a greater, higher source within yourself and that it does good for you. I choose to believe and use the word God. It's when God speaks to you when you're ready to give up. The second sacred echo is she carried fire in her silence. The power of the unspoken resilience, honoring a woman who endured without applause. You know how we carry so much on our shoulders, never giving ourselves a pat on the back, never getting a pat on the back, never even getting an applause for what and how we carry ourselves as women. She carried fire in her silence, honored that resilience. When pain becomes a prophet was pretty deep for me, was how suffering reveals purpose, turning wounds into wisdom. For me, what I saw in when pain becomes a prophet was that we all have the ability, prophetic ability inside of us, whether we call it intuition or hindsight. We often get the nudges. We often can see something before it's about to happen. but we don't believe in ourselves enough to believe what it is we may see, or what the hindsight 2020 gives us, or the intuition. So we find ourselves caught up in a situation or circumstance that brings pain about. The fourth was the echo of a praying mother. Again, if you're not a prayer, you're a meditator, whatever it is, your ritual that you desire to do, I choose to pray. I believe the majority of us choose to communicate to a higher source greater than ourselves that can protect ourselves. But a praying mother is one that prays for her children. It's a mantle that's passed down, that when we pray for our children, we find our children pray for their children, or so forth. It's a mantle that's passed down through generations. It's a generational intercession, that's unseen prayers that shape destinies. God was in the detour. That was even pretty deep. Trusting divine redirection, lessons learned in delay, or loss, or unexpected turns. When we believe that we're being detoured, or we had a plan that didn't turn out to be the plan that we thought we had, know that in the detour, the plan is greater than what you might have ever could have imagined. The sound of forgiveness, releasing bitterness. Oh yeah, that was a good one. Go to my sites or my channels and take a look if you haven't tuned in. It was releasing bitterness, how forgiveness echoes louder than revenge. Releasing yourself from something that isn't meant for you to carry. The headache, the heartache, allowing people to rent space in your head, get it off of you. And tonight was titled I'm going to visit that on my next episode, was Legacy Has a Voice. But as I was doing a little bit of studying and preparing for this, I came up with something a bit deeper. Don't ask me how I got here, but I'm here. So, it's funny how uh, you know life could take you and bring you to a place where what's inside of you, you open up a door called echoes, and they start speaking loud and clear. So let's welcome to Let's Talk with yours truly, Jazzy Wanda. Another fine episode of the Sacred Echoes, the echoes that follow you throughout your life. So today's episode is duly titled. That's right, duly. That means double. Titled The Echo of the Streets That Raised Me to the Echo of Grace That Found Me. That's pretty deep. That's a pretty deep one. Echo of the streets that raised me to the echo of the grace that found me. So what episode are we in? We're in episode 13 segment. I call it 7AB. I said this is duly titled Before I Was a Pastor, Before I Became a Podcaster, and even a record label owner, I was a daughter. Guess what? I was a daughter of a gangster. That's right, a Harlem mobster. Before I even held a mic or even spoke in a pulpit, I was fashioned by the streets, the echo of the streets that raised me. See, raised by a gangster with a heart full of hustle and his hands that knew both prayer and pain. Raised by the corner of wisdom, subway sermons, and the rhythm of survival, these streets didn't just shape me, they echoed me. See, I wasn't raised on lullabies. Oh, rockabye, baby. No, I wasn't raised on lullabies. I was raised on lookout codes and loyalty. My childhood soundtracks came from sirens and soul music. You know, the block parties and the parades and the sound of survival. See, Harlem and the Bronx didn't just raise me, they recorded me. Every block, every stoop, Every side eye glance was a lesson to take heed in. And my teachers, guess who they were? They were the gangsters. They were the gangsters who wore gold chains and had gospel hearts. What? That's right. The gangsters who wore gold chains and had gospel hearts. Could you imagine? See, they taught me early on that love could wear gold chains and still carry a heavy past. So you see, my lessons came from stoops and street corners. That's right. Stoops and street corners. These are the echoes of where I come from. The reason why I still walk with that rhythm. See, being raised in Harlem in the Bronx, the true hybrid that I am, see, it was the concrete that taught me resilience and the street blocks that taught me loyalty. Like I said, my father wasn't just a man, he was a legend. Yes, yes, sweets, they called them. He was a legend. He was a legend in the streets. He was a true gangster. But make no mistake about it, he was a protector. He was my protector. He was my provider. Although often walking in contradiction, I was taught how to read before. I was taught how to read people before I was able to read a book. That part. I was taught to move. I was taught to move in silence, how to speak with presence, how to survive before I could even thrive. And never to let the world define me by its fear of me. Because I was who I am, and I am, as y'all know, I like to say that I am. I learned to love, and I learned to love that love can wear Timberlands. That's right. Y'all know these New Yorkers, you can tell a spot them a mile away down in Florida, 80 to 90 degree sun, they got their Timberlands and jeans on. But I learned that love can wear Timberlands and that protection sometimes comes from the past. One thing about it, grace showed up in the most unexpected places. Like the corner store. You know that corner store conversation? Like a warning from someone who's seen too much. See, raised by gangsters baptized me in grit. My halo came with a hustle. My prayers never quit. I definitely learned to lead from the back. Speak truth with a twist. See, the streets didn't break me, they built me. They built me like this. These are the lessons I learned from the streets. I learned that silence can be sacred. That's right. Learn to keep your mouth shut sometimes. That loyalty isn't loud, often quiet, often subtle, and can almost be secretive. And sometimes, just sometimes, the most spiritual thing a person can do is to protect its own people. I'm talking about the streets that raised me to the grace that found me. See, one thing about it, understanding the streets taught me discernment, a gift, a gift that I really didn't understand that I was born with. Oh, I pay attention to it now. I pay real close attention to it now. See, the streets taught me timing and how to move with purpose. So now, as you can clearly see, or if you even believe me, I carry this. I carry this echo from the streets in every sermon, in every podcast, and even with dealing with every person I meet. See, these echoes that I was raised by, they still speak. They speak loud and clear in my behaviors and in my actions. Even now as I hear these echoes, in the way I often speak, in the way I fight for my legacy, and most definitely in the way I refuse to let trauma, trials, and tribulation have its final say. Can't let it happen. Came too far, been through too much. See, the streets didn't just raise me, they recorded me, and I'm still playing back the wisdom. That's right, I'm still playing back the wisdom, the street wisdom. See, the street wisdom and the spiritual codes, that is the gangster grace. The hustle that taught me about God. Remember, whatever you choose to believe in, whatever you choose to call, I choose to call it God, the God within that lives inside of me. There's a sacred wisdom in that hustle, and it's called loyalty. See, I learned it from a very early age. I guess it prepared me for the day that grace would find me. And in that wisdom and in that hustle, it's called loyalty. It's called timing, silence, and protection. See, my father taught me how to move like a shadow and speak like a storm. I guess that's why today, when I seems like you're no kick somebody on the there they go again in the chat offering me those followers. I'm all for it. Like I told you in the chat, as long as it's legit, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, and I'm interested. But see, like I was saying, that ability to move like a shadow and speak like a storm is the resilience of who I am today as I travel, as I conduct myself, as I model the great person that I am. See, somewhere between the street codes and those scriptures, I found some of you call him Elohim, some of you call him Yeshua, Jehovah, Allah. I call him God. I found God. I found God, but grace found me. Because all that I've been through, all that I seen, all that I endured, it had to be grace and mercy that kept me. See, you don't just grow up in the streets of New York under the auspice of who my father was, the gangster that he was, the gangster workers that, I don't know if you want to call it, my brother often says, that raised me. Yeah, because I worked up under several of my dad's workers, and they were all gangsters, and they were all men. There was a few women in on the scene, but most of the women were the gangsters' wives or the gangsters' daughters. But along the way, I found God. But grace, little did I know, and mercy had already found me. See, it's not just in the pews, but anybody that knows, that anybody that grew up in the streets of any big city, not for nothing, in any hood, but in warnings and whispers, in the way love showed up loud, I found God. I call it gangster grace. That's what I call it. I call it gangster grace. My boys to this day still say I'm a gangster. Granted, I'm a godly gangster at this point in the gesture of my life. Okay, that was the reason why I left New York. That was the reason why I went away to college. That was the exact reason why I got up out of there. See, for graduation, I was given a after hour spot, a club, if you will. Go girls dancing, bartending, you know, everybody drinking, popping bottles, champagne. I'm not sure where that could have led to other than becoming a gangster woman. Becoming a part of that which my dad was a part of. Hindsight 2020, I knew I had a better, different future. I knew that there was something outside of Harlem in the Bronx for me. And believe it or not, high school had prepared me. Although I got the most craziest story about high school and school, college was my ticket out. So although the streets may have raised me and grace found me, I believe that which was what led me to college and out of the Big Apple. I took my gangster daughter self to upstate New York. Yes, I did. To my first college. It was a 2-year college, SUNY College. hmm And guess what? Jazzy Wanda about took over and ran the place. I believe it was a handful of Afro Americans, a handful of blacks, handful of Negroes, handful of Africans, handful of minorities, if you will. Because I want to touch upon what y'all all might call them, call us. I choose to call myself mulatto, but it's neither here nor there. The gangster Jazzy Wanda went up north into them people's town and took over. Yeah. I came with my Harlem grit and my ability to speak, be loyal, and be heard, and took over. How you 25 minorities on a campus with over 3,000 Caucasians. Keep in mind it was a Sunni school, so it was a small school, wasn't a big school, it was a 2-year school. And you acting like you don't want to be a part. So Jazzy Wanda took herself on up in there with her Harlem grit and her Bronx swag and showed people destined for greatness how to love. I believe it was the first month there I made the newspaper student of the month because I came and did what apparently no other Afro-American or the black, whatever you want to call it. I call myself Malo. Y'all might want to call me black. You might say I look Puerto Rican. You might say I look Dominican, whatever the case may be. My ancestry says I got a multitude of whatever in me. But nevertheless, I was able to come and unify what had not ever hadn't take place in a surmountable amount of years. I believe there's magazine newspaper clips, if you will, newspaper clips of the ability of the New York City girl coming up there and showing love and uniting us as a people, as beings, and not as ethnicity or nationalities. Exactly what I did. That was the gangster grace on me. And see, what I realize about that gangster grace, it's real. It's super real. It's the kind that saves you before you even know you need saving. Absolutely. That part. That part. The kind that saves you before you even know you need saving. Could you imagine growing up in the city, being a gangster's daughter, being a popular young lady, running stuff, running stores? I mean, 9 years old, I was running a record shop. Okay, I had to make sure the music was playing and we had all of the 45s that they were selling and whatever the latest. 9 years old, imagine that. Imagine that. Imagine that. And when I got a little bit older, I was participating in the numbers ring. If anybody know what that is, that's the illegal numbers betting. So let me just give you a little bit of history of where your lotto and your lottery came from. That part. Let me see. Where's my that part button? That part. That part. Where it came from. You know, anybody making more money than the government, or the government see anybody making any kind of money, illegal money at that, they gonna put their 2 cents in it and they gonna create a legal source of it. And so that's where your 3 ways and your 5 ways and your box and your bull leaders and your they even took it a step further. I don't know if lotto was out there then, but I do know that the 3 way and the 4 way and the 2 numbers, which they call them bolitas, all came from that illegal world of the numbers game, the betting on the horses, and they get the phone call and then they put the number out. I don't know if it's still going on or not. I've been out of New York for a surmountable amount of years, and my daddy went on to the next phase in life in the year 2000. So I really don't know if that's something that's still as big as it was. Not after the government steps in and put their 2 cents on it. It's like they did the marijuana ring. It's legal now. And the heroin epidemic, it's legal now through methadone. Nothing but a switcheroo on you, if you will, but just so that they control you and make money. But it was still grace, if you will, that gangster grace that bought me out, that saved me even when I didn't know I needed saving. Funny part about it was I had met this God of an understanding that I had no clue throughout the years when I was a little girl. I believe I was about 4 years old, if I'm not mistaken. I was about 4. And uh yeah, in the chat. Funny. I was about 4 years old, and it was a Catholic church that I met uh the God that I thought it was amazing to see the girls in the white, and that's, and then the religious instruction or whatever you want to call it. And I believe that was the door that opened for me for grace and mercy, if not had found me, had protected me and covered me through the years. And though I wasn't raised up in religion, not at all, didn't participate in it at all, didn't participate in it at all, laughed at people going to church and all of those different religions, if you will. But if you will, the gangster grace is real. And it's the kind that saved me before I even knew I need any type of saving. And I'm so grateful that I got to a place where I realized that I could save myself. that part, that part, that I could save myself. I really didn't go looking for grace. Grace came looking for me, found me in the middle of my mess, in the silence between sirens, and in the stillness after the storm. Yep, yep, yep. Yes, I was raised by the streets, but I was also saved by something deeper. I was saved by the fact that I didn't want to live the life that I was living, or the life that I saw, and the life that I was raised up under. Something sacred that didn't care about my past, but only my purpose. Grace found me when I was tired of pretending, when the hustle couldn't heal me, when the gangster in me needed a different, if you will, answer. And that answer didn't come with lightning, it came with love. It came with the ability of me to learn to love myself. With a whisper that told me, that reminded me that I was never too far gone. So I started believing in myself. I started walking different. I started talking different. And I even began to learn how to love different. Because grace doesn't just change your path, it changes your posture. Now I speak from a healed place, led from a whole place. I'm built from a blessed place. So if you're listening right now and you feel like your past is louder than your promise, let me echo this truth. Grace is still looking for you. And when you allow you to find you, it won't ask you for your credentials. It'll just say, welcome home. That part. Welcome home. That's right. No matter where you was born, no matter where you were raised at, whatever your trials and tribulations and your situations and your circumstances and your hang-ups, you too can find grace, because it found me, and it was within myself. I didn't have to go too far to look. How deep is that? I didn't have to go too far to look. That's right. So, hey, this is your girl Jazzy. Harlem born, Bronx bred, Florida Force. And this segment, 7AB, episode 13, the echoes, the streets that raised me, to the echo of the grace that found me. Found me within myself to be the greater me. You too can find you within yourself, the greater you. No matter where you were born, no matter where you was raised, no matter what you've been through, your legacy awaits. Your ability to be great is arm's length. So your echoes, they follow you. Take heed. This episode, the echoes of the street that raised me, boom. But guess what? It was grace that found me. The grace within myself to be a better version of myself. And I am so grateful to what I choose to call God. The higher self within myself was able to love, trust, and believe in me. Yep. So that's it. That's it for tonight. You tuning in to Let's Talk with Jazzy Wanda, the echo of the streets that raised me and the grace that found me. It's all within. It's all within self. Stay tuned and be blessed. Until next time, Sunday at 6 p.m. See you then.
Yeah. You gotta choose your side. You gotta choose your side. It's do or die. I said it's do or die. I said it's conflict in all areas, nigga. You choose the side. You could win or you could lose, nigga. It's do or die. Energy don't lie, it just testify. For what they saying, I just look them deep into their eyes. Going against the God in me, now that's suicide. Higher self, higher level, higher wealth. To move like this, you gotta put your pride up on yourself. They say money is power, but knowledge way stronger.
Hey, what you say is true. The Shaolin and the Wu-Tang could be dangerous.
They say money is power, but knowledge way stronger. My soul pure gold, so I live way longer. My mind think righteous, yeah, my bloodline chosen. My energy is positive, words unspoken, I'm so illuminated. I shine brighter than Illuminati. Walking on water, now they really know I'm God body. Gifted from birth, so the life I face is hard body. Had so much love in my heart, they had to apply pressure. Now I'm a fine diamond, yeah, said I'm a fine diamond.
Shadow boxing and the Wu-Tang sword style.
No matter how hard they try, I found myself in divine timing. Now they follow what I say like my name Simon. Led the chosen ones to victory in divine timing. The time is near, the signs are clear. 144, activation is here. We rise in the vibration with no fear. Oh, the Thundercats we all hear. And now it just don't seem fair. It just don't seem fair.